Greg. Oh
I
oh,
am
God.
recording. Oh my god.
Oh my
This is
goodness.
crazy. This is crazy, dude. Do we want video?
Am I on video?
You're on video. Well, you know, you're not on video, but if you press your little video button on your screen,
I would be on video.
then you will be. Just show the people your face before we fully start.
Okay, hold on. I gotta put away my terrible Oreo.
Yeah. Stop eating those pink Oreos, dude.
Or not good.
No, I've tried them before. I know they're not good. Hey, Justin. Hey, welcome to my podcast.
Hello, Daniel. Should I call you Daniel or Dan? Danny. We'll call you Danny.
Anything but Danny, but the other two are fine.
All
Why
right,
don't you
Danny. Can
tell
I hear you?
everyone who you are and where you're from and what you're doing?
All right. What am I doing? Who am I? Where am I?
Yeah. And where are you going?
Where am I going? My name is Justin Johnstone. I am currently cycling from Japan to Bali. I think maybe we'll see. The
You
plan's a little
started
open ended.
you started in Japan.
Yeah, it started in the northern tip of Japan, Hokkaido, and I'm making my way. All right, I'm gonna turn my camera off, but making my way through Asia
On a
along the way
bicycle.
on a bicycle. Yes, just yeah, it's a really important um, detail there. But yeah, cycling
And
through Asia to see what Asia has to offer on a bicycle.
amazing. You went
Mhm.
right through China, didn't you? How many weeks were you in China?
I was in China for I think 8 or 9 weeks. It's over 2 months.
Pretty
China,
good.
China.
And how many miles do you think you've cycled so far, or kilometers?
Oh, I had this number. I no longer have this number, but I have it. So let's see. Japan was about 3,000 miles. Korea was about uh, 400. China was about 1,600 miles. Taiwan was about 1,000.
I think we're at six
Yeah.
thousand. Okay, 6,000.
And then Vietnam, where are we at in Vietnam? We're probably a solid 900 miles in Vietnam. So,
So we're pushing 7,000 miles. I think that's a lot.
yeah, converting it to kilometers is what, like,
And you started this in Japan in what month? A couple of months
I,
ago.
st- I started, yeah, in the beginning of June 2025.
Oh
It is
wow.
now. It is now currently, what is this? February 2026, almost March.
It's
Nine
worth
months.
mentioning that you probably took some stops and stayed in a few places for a while, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'd argue I was on the road more than I was off the road in Japan, but Korea was more time off the road than on the road. Spent some time in Busan, Seoul, and then kind of like China. Um,
And you're joining us now whilst currently cycling in Vietnam, where we met. With we should tell everyone we've only known each other what, like 2 weeks?
I think barely 2 weeks. Now we're best of buds.
In a bar, and you came over to me asking if you could play pool with us. Me, my cousin Rob, and his girlfriend uh, Nayoung from Korea, from Seoul.
Yeah, you guys looked like easy people to beat pool at, so I was just compelled. Boy, was I wrong.
Actually, we're quite good at pool, me and Rob,
Yeah,
and
you
Nayoung.
guys are. You guys are.
And then we
Mhm.
got chatting, and we became friends. You're
Yeah, and
from
did
the
not.
I'm from England. Then we just started hanging out like every day, like going for lunch. You came and met friends of mine who I know from Chiang Mai. I'm here for 3 weeks. You were supposed to be here for less than that, but you agreed to extend. I managed to convince you to extend your stay in Da Nang.
There's a couple of reasons, but that's one of them for sure. I
I'm the
think.
only reason. I'm the number one top reason.
I mean, to verify the claim there a little bit, on the road for solo traveling on the road via bicycle, it could take a mental and emotional toll, in the sense of solitude and loneliness. So,
Wow, we're
whenever
getting
I
deep already.
whenever I rolled into Da Nang, I think there was a part of me that was sort of yearning for some socializing. I was certainly seeking it, and so um, whenever I met y'all, it was um, a pretty welcoming community, a pretty welcoming space to just sort of engage with. So it was a pretty refreshing time spent in Da Nang while I
I
was
was
off.
surprised how quickly we became like close friends and how much time we spent together, like just talking about past relationships and family and all this kind of deep stuff that you don't just go up to any stranger and say, oh well, I don't speak to my mother that often. I don't. Me and my dad are not super close, but like when I met you, obviously there's certain people you develop a kinship with, and you can sort of get that close, deep talks going. A relationship becomes closer quite quickly.
Yeah, I think the fact that there's a shared sense of relatability when it comes to what we're going through in life. You know, trying to deal with what it means to be a human and interacting with other humans. I'm trying to be vague here for a reason, but
I
yeah, it
like
was.
your vagary. Very good vagary there. But we both had gone through a breakup semi
Yeah,
recently, maybe like a few weeks or a few months ago.
yeah. So a shared sense of of grief. Something that we can sort of bond over. It's a universal. It's like a universal human experience, kind of dealing with those emotions and sort of processing that. So, and it's not really. I think every single day you're passing by somebody who's dealing with it, but it's not really outwardly spoken enough, which is surprising given how universal that whole experience is. It is innate in the human experience.
By the way, I know
Anyway,
you're cycling currently in Vietnam, going on your way from, you left the Mang and you're on your way to where?
Hanoi. Yeah, I guess that's a pretty
Right.
important disclaimer as you'll start hearing
We'll hear,
different back.
you'll hear stuff, you'll hear maybe dogs barking, trucks beeping. And if you need to take a break from talking because you're cycling and I need to talk for a bit, I can definitely talk for England. So
I'll ask you to stall. I think I'll let you know.
yeah, we'll need a code word. If you need me to stall for a while, just say Oreos.
Oreos, no, I think yeah. I'll let you know. I'll say Oreos, and whether that's referring to the terrible pink Oreos or not.
So I want to ask you about your reasons for doing what you're doing, but first I'm going
Mm,
to just quickly go over my leg. I'm currently in my hotel room in bed, sat upright with my legs straight, and I'll show my leg just briefly. It's not swollen anymore, but I'm just keeping it straight. And I've torn the ACL in my knee after a game of tennis a few days ago, which is kind of serious. I mean, I'm limping around. I
oh,
can't really walk. And it was literally 2 days ago. Went to the hospital the next morning, so yesterday morning, and had the MRI. He didn't ask to do an X ray, which I expected because I'd researched. He said it's probably, bones are fine. So
mm,
straight to MRI. It cost about £90. It's cheap in Vietnam. But then he
oh,
said you need an operation to get it fully fixed, and so that's going to be like 72 million dong, which is like £2,000. But it's going to be more expensive in Thailand, and I'm flying back to Thailand on March 3rd, but that's in like 4 days. So then I need to look into whether I'm going to do it in Thailand or have the operation in England, and that's a bit of a head trauma for me. I'm like, what's the best option? But I'm trying not to think about it, staying positive. I'm icing it several times a day. I've got anti-inflammatory medication, and
mm,
I'm just looking after it and staying off of it and not walking too much. And I didn't get the crutches, but I do have a knee brace. And today I find I can walk a little bit better. I also have a story. I met a guy on the beach last night who stopped me, big muscly German guy, and he went, "Hey, you want to talk to me a second about your leg, my friend? He can help you." I was like, "What
seriously.
the? Who's this crazy?" And then there was some Vietnamese guy who was also big and muscly. He came over. He said, "I healed this guy who's got an ACL fracture too. He's got a broke bad leg, and I haven't healed him, but he can at least walk for now." That's what he said on his phone. He had to translate on his phone. He said, and the German guy said, "If you sit down, das ist gut, ja, you will be fixed." He said, he will make it so you can walk again." You'd be like, it was like a spiritual. It was mumbo jumbo. I was scared. I was very scared. I was like, "What's he gonna do?" He was like, "Look, he's gonna put his finger on your neck. He's gonna he put his knuckle in my jaw and went round and round in a circle like that."
Wait? Are you serious?
I'm serious. And I was like, I stopped him. I was like, "Dude, this is crazy. This is not doing anything." He was like, "But look how when you put your knuckle in this jaw, it doesn't hurt." And I was like, "Okay, that is weird." And then if you do it on the other side, it does hurt. Yeah. And he said, you do 7 times like that. 7 times he did it. And eventually I let him do it again. And then he did my elbow on my right side. And then he grabbed my big toe and did some stuff with my toe, like quite painful, but like just kneading it and moving it around. And then it's weird, like miraculously, I could actually walk better. And then there was no pain as well. He took some of the pain away in my knee. Now, some of it could be, I don't know,
Placebo.
mumbo jumbo, placebo, but I don't know, man. There's some weird healers around, and he said you know I still need an operation. Don't get me wrong, but no, I'm convinced he's a spiritual man.
Spiritual man. He picked up on your your injured energy. He's like, that man needs he needs my help.
Well, I thought he was.
He was drawn to you.
I kept my wallet in my pocket, and I kept my little man bag close. But yeah, it was a scary time. But he didn't try to rob me. He said to come back, do it 5 days in a row, and he said you'll be much better. You'll be running again. I was like, well, I'm not so sure. But,
I,
but thanks for the jaw massage.
I thought it was quite humorous whenever you share the video of you in the hospital room with the doctor explaining the MRI imagery to you, and he's like, he said, "Doc, it's like no ligament here," and you're like, "Is that bad?" I was like, "No, no, no,
Well, I
it's
was
okay."
confused. I mean, their English isn't amazing, right?
Yeah.
So when he said no ligament, I was like, I'm sure you don't mean no. What do you mean by that? You don't mean no. I was like, is that bad? What are you trying to say? What I meant was, what are you trying to say? Because there must be some ligament.
Yeah. You're looking for clarification. Yeah, it's
I
like
wanted
no, this.
some, I wanted some more, but then he was just carried on, and he was like, "Let me show you this picture of a knee. This is
Yeah,
what you've done. You've broken you've ruptured or
the ligament.
torn the ligament in the middle of your knee, and
Yeah.
that's worse than what we thought, which was like the outer
Uh-huh.
ligament. Like the meniscus I think is also inside, but there's like the outer ACL, isn't there? And there's the left one and the right one, and
Uh-huh.
then there's the main one. I don't know. I'm not a knee expert, but there's the main one in the middle, and that's what I've actually. But what
You
I
don't
actually
know
heard
the.
on the court, what actually happened was a backhand. I was turning for a backhand shot.
Mm,
I hadn't
yeah.
warmed up enough, obviously, and my leg stayed still, and I just heard a pop and then collapsed to the ground in
I.
agony. And when I heard that pop, I thought, yeah, it must be like something on the outside. But apparently, that pop can be interior ligament. But anyway, it's very
Yeah.
worrying, and I don't want to talk
Of
about
course.
it anymore.
You brought it up.
Yeah, but I wanted to just cover it and say why I'm like laying in bed or sitting in bed, and update the people about the fact that I'm a one-legged man. Anyway, why do you want to cycle across all of Asia, and when are you going to stop? And what's the goal of all this?
Oh. Um. That's a couple of questions there. Let me see how to frame it a little bit because I don't
Who do
really
you
have a
think
good.
you are? What are you trying to achieve?
I'm not trying. I'm not trying to achieve anything. That's the thing. I think I've gotten this question a lot about like
A
why.
reason. People want to have a reason.
Yeah, they're curious why, and I don't really have like a clear answer to that. That's particularly satisfying for most people. It's like, it's like why do people do a lot of the things that they do? Why are you in Da Nang right now? Why are you on vacation doing what you're doing? It's just like what you want to do, right? And so everybody has their own flavor, their own form, their own approach to how they want to experience life, how they want to experience a country, how they want to experience whatever. And some people have more unconventional approaches to that than others. For me, I like the bicycle a lot. I think it's a really practical machine. You can cover a lot of ground with it. You don't need a car, which is a pretty big plus for me. And it allows you to experience the environment around you at a pace that is digestible. You can see a lot. It's a very intimate way to experience the environment around you. But you're also able to sort of cover a considerable amount of distance where it is actually reasonable to travel on. Now, there's subjectivity in that. Like what is considered reasonable may vary depending on the human. But for me, it's just I like type 2 fun. I think the bicycle is a practical means of transportation, and and it's it's entertaining. Plus, a lot of people are very curious about it, so there's like a bit of an ego scratch that kind of goes with the traveling element of it all as well. I'll be honest about that, but that is not the pure reasoning. If anything, it's reinforcing. But Um,
There's a little bit of you just want to be that cool dude who like cycles like millions of miles, right?
a lot of people, it's people see the bicycle and they ask, they're like, "Oh, like they're curious. It's like you're traveling, on a bicycle," and I go,
You're
"Yeah,
not
yeah,
just the regular. I go out for a cycle for an hour. You're like they
yeah."
can tell right immediately that
Yeah.
you're hardcore.
Well, they see all the bags. It's a fully loaded bicycle, so they know I'm not out for a casual stroll through town. But I've had plenty of instances where, especially in Vietnam, where the motorbike is really popular, and I'll roll into like I'll be talking to somebody, or I'll be rolling into a hotel or a hostel, and I'll ask them, tell them, "Hey, I have a bicycle. Can I park it anywhere?" And most people think I'm talking about a motorbike, which is interesting that is constantly confused. I say bicycle, bicycle. Um, but I was like, no, no, no. I'm like a pedal bike. Like, and they're like, oh, and then there's like you always see the realization set in a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. I was like, I got the tan lines to prove it, but um,
Yeah, I've
a
seen
lot
that
of
tan line on your leg. It's very it's a hard line in the sand there from white to brown.
yeah, it's I'm proud of it. I think if people are cyclists, it's a tan line that most strive to achieve, even though it looks ridiculous as hell.
I've asked you this question before. I've asked you about fear and danger,
Mm.
but off camera. So I wanted to get that for the podcast. Like, what are your thoughts about? Because what you're doing is not something that anyone or everyone would want to do or could do, because there is an element of fear and danger. You mentioned somewhere in America you had a problem where you had issues with your bike and then you ended up kind of stranded, and that would be a constant worry for me, especially when you get to remote areas.
Um, yeah, how do I handle the uncertainty? Uh,
You told me on your phone you don't even have a way to track like what's happening that day. Obviously, you can look at weather, but
yeah,
especially in this part of the world, there could be a landslide. You can have cows walking across the road. You can have cars that break down. There's so many things.
yeah,
You've ridden through fires. I've seen on your Instagram story. I'm following along, liking
uh-huh.
and subscribing for more. There is danger.
Yeah. If you want to follow along, it's at justincredible.cc for my Instagram handle. But yeah,
There
I
it
mean,
is.
there's always a lot of uncertainty with
That
life,
was
right?
that was at Justin Incredible.
Incredible, Justin
Just
Credible
incredible. Ah, I see what you did there.
dot cc. Yeah,
Got CC.
it's a fun little play on words, but yeah, I mean, there's always going to be uncertainty with life in every form of travel. Obviously, if you're on the bicycle and you're in the middle of nowhere, um, there's a lot of risk in how to manage that. I will say, like, this isn't the first time. I've been on the road for 9 months now, and the first time I did something like this was summer 2024. Whenever I cycled across America from New York to uh, San Francisco, and I am from New York. I don't think I clarified that, but that was the very first time I've undertaken something as big as that, and there was a lot of fear in that. There was a lot of anxiety, and a part of managing anxiety and uncertainty is just trying to find ways to control the situation, right? So a lot of what that looked like is just trying to be really deliberate about mapping out where I'm going to be the next day, where I'm going to get food, et cetera, so forth, because there's going to be a lot of stretches where you don't have resources. And so I think the more I've done this, the more I've been able to like build a pretty substantial degree of self-confidence and how I'm able to like manage myself. So that anxiety or worry around uncertainty arguably doesn't, at this stage of things, doesn't really exist anymore. Which is, I guess, a blessing and a curse. Sometimes, it could be a healthy degree of stress that forces you to be a little bit more intentional about your planning, and more intentional about, identifying resources, lack of resources, et cetera, because you need, especially above all things, water. But I haven't really, had many issues in that regard. There's always a store somewhere. I think the biggest struggle is like, go
You've had
ahead.
some issues with your bike, right? And breaking off a few times. And then often you need to go to a bike store. And that's mainly what the problems we've had have been, right?
Yeah, there's been a handful. I mean, yeah, I mean, over getting close to 10,000 miles here, it's you're going to have mechanicals, and I've certainly had my fair share of whether that be flat tires, which is pretty low on the severity risk or severity level there, to having bottom brackets just completely give out, which is
That was
you
today,
got.
right? Bottom bracket was today or yesterday?
Oh no, that was actually before Denang. They're referring to the videos on Instagram. That was all before Denang.
Oh, oh, I see.
Because I'm very delayed on those updates. But Rob thought the same. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's hard to tell sometimes on socials when something's current, right, or when it's from.
yeah. I think I was just I used to be really I would do vlogs at the beginning of this journey on Instagram. But I have developed a new appreciation for influencers, which I know is a silly thing to say because it is a lot of work, and I just kind of got burnt out to it. So I needed to find
Dude, you need a manager. You need someone to post for you and do all your stuff.
yeah. I can pay you and friendship until to do it for me until I get paid until
I
I
mean,
start getting
luckily, I do
sponsorship
kind
deals.
of enjoy it, like making
Yeah,
videos and doing stuff, obviously, because I make YouTube videos too. And I teach
yeah.
piano on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. And the name of the channel is
Let's hear
Between
it.
the Keys.
Between the keys.
For all
This
your
guy will
piano
teach
learning
you.
needs, Between the Keys. All one
It's
word,
not.
Between the Keys. Do you, betweenthekeys.com, do you, on YouTube, do you find that, do you want to tell people what your gear is? And then, like, we can give Amazon affiliate links and you can try and make some money?
Yeah, oh, let's see how do I condense this? I got a
YouTube.
couple of things. So the bike I'm on it's a steel frame gravel bike from Kona. It's the Kona Rogue.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Um,
whoa. It's a steel frame gravel bike from
Kona. The
Kona.
Kona
Cona.
Kona.
Okay, never heard
Um,
of it, but great.
I think it's Canadian.
I've got
The
two knees at work. I'd love to do some cycling in my life again one day.
yeah. Once you're back up and running,
Yeah.
literally.
Maybe I'll come with you and we'll go right across America or somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. Take it easy for a step. Hello. Oh, I got a man. Oh, this man's off a tank. This man just offered me beer.
He's offering
Thank
you
you.
beer.
I literally had a dude roll up next to me, and he's like, he had a box of beer, and he's like,
Nice. You see, these are the
oh,
kind of spontaneous experiences that you're having. It's amazing, isn't it?
yeah, that's the first time somebody's offered. I've had people pull over and give me plenty of things. I've never had anybody offer me beer before. I know it's common
Earlier,
though.
you said you saw a woman with orange peels in her nose.
Yeah, yeah. She was sick. She says it was. I don't understand that one, but cultural differences. Who am I to judge? Who am I to say?
Right.
Um, but yeah, I'm gonna just save that for later. Okay, yeah, going back to the question of gear. So I'll try to be brief with this. I've got a couple of things. I have panniers that I have on the front rack. I've got a dry bag on top of the front rack's platform, whatever you want to call that. Sea to Summit. The panniers are Ortlieb, the gravel packs. I've got I got a frame bag, the large from Restrap. I've got a Brooks saddle, the C17 that I'm riding on. I used to have the B17 until the rails snapped, which was a bit shocking to me. I use aero bars, which is not everybody's cup of tea, but I really enjoy the aero position and just laying into the handlebars. I've got Ortlieb fork bag, but I've got that on the rear rack set up with Jack Supply Co. Little slugger bag. I have that as a saddle bag on the back that carries all my toiletries and camping gear. And I've got a horn. Us. Anyway, what else do I have? What else is important to mention? Um, I think that's the gist of it, pretty much.
And
I
you
can
have
get
your
into more
phone,
detail.
which you use for your routing and weather and other things, I guess.
Yeah, I use a Wahoo Element Pro. I think that's like the mini version. I always upload all my routes to that, which is a luxury. You don't need that to do bikepacking, but um,
But you
it
like
makes it. I like it. Yeah, it makes planning and daily routing a lot easier instead of having to
is
constantly
that
like
called a
stop.
double UPS?
It's got GPS. Yeah, it records my riding as well.
Yeah, but what's the name of it? It's a WPS.
Wahoo. You're talking
It's
about the
a
bike computer?
Wahoo. Yeah, is that what it is? A Wahoo.
Wahoo. Yeah, Wahoo.
It's a bike computer. See, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Tiny little one. And then I've got I'm actually quite proud of my cockpit where I've got the bike computer up front in between the aero bars, and then just below that, I have there's a company called Mouse. They make um, they make phone cases, Mouse MOUS, and they also make a bicycle mount. And they have different kinds, but they have one where you can attach it to the stem of the handlebar, which came quite in handy for me because I don't have any room with the handlebars, etc. On my handlebars to apply a new mount. So the stem mount was ideal. So this is like a bit of a linear setup with the bike computer, and then below that is my phone. So it's very convenient setup.
Nice.
Nice. If I
You've
could show
definitely
you a
got your
photo,
stuff.
I
I've
would.
seen your bicycle, and you've definitely got a good setup. The saddlebags, everything looks like it's got its right place. The weight management you've thought about, you told me, so it's
Yeah,
good. You know what you're doing, and you know,
yeah.
as you say, you're going for like 10 miles, I guess. After Vietnam, you're going to go to
Laos,
Laos, and then you'll go to,
Thailand.
which is where I live in Chiang Mai. So you could visit me in Chiang Mai.
Yes, yeah. Unless you're in England getting your surgery done.
Surgery, God, don't remind me about
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. But yeah, yeah.
one game.
He's
One day of not stretching, and I'm Legolas.
done for, done for.
So
Yeah,
terrible. Anyway,
no,
yeah,
but
but you mentioned you might get a quicker way to get to Thailand. You mentioned a boat.
yeah. So because I was trying to figure out my route planning through Laos. Is it Laos or Lao? I don't know. Um,
Well, I actually don't know. I just say Lao because I heard someone else say that, but I've also heard
yeah.
people say Laos. Who cares?
I guess it's all colloquial. Wherever people say it is the way that I'll say it. But yeah, I was trying to figure out my route planning through Laos and from Hanoi, and I saw that there, one of my resources that I use for route planning uh, is the Strava. They have a global heat map. It's just
I've
pretty
used
much a
Strava before for I think ramming or
yeah, yeah. It's great little bit of social media, but the global heat map is really useful for route planning because you can see where most people typically ride, and it sort of gives you a degree of assurance that that route is popular and usable. Um, and then similarly, ridewithgps.com, they also have a global heat map. So I just kind of cross check both of those resources for route planning. And for the sake of Laos, it seems that most people will ride into Luang Prabang, if that's how you pronounce it, and Luang Prabang. Um, and there's a slow boat that'll take you from that town up the Mekong towards Thailand. So I think my riding in total in Laos will be fairly short, about 250 miles in total, but it'll be complemented with a very novel means of transportation. Um,
nice.
we got trucks.
So you'll either be there late March or April, right? Early April.
Yeah, I'd like to be early April because it's right now, it's what, February 26th, 27th.
And as you know, I've told you it's the worst time to go. March and April, burning season. They burn the rice
But
fields.
yeah,
Pollution,
I know.
PMI off the 2.5. Off the
Well,
scale. Much
what do
pollution.
you what do you suggest I do? I'll be in
I just want you
Hanoi.
to come now. No, I just want you to go in May when it's clean air. I just
Well,
want you to just think about it because I don't want to be there March and April. And if
I
I can get my
understand.
surgery done quickly in England, I will.
I understand. I guess it's like I try to think about. It's just a poor planning and poor timing on my part. It's like
Well,
I'm in the
don't know,
region, right?
don't know that Chiang Mai is off in March and April. They just don't realise.
But I just, if I'm in Hanoi, I have to leave Vietnam around by early April because that's when my visa expires.
And
So
then,
I go ahead.
so you want to hit Laos and you want to hit Thailand, and then where else do you want to hit?
I'll keep heading south through Malaysia towards Indonesia. Singapore, then Indonesia, and then I'll ride Java uh, towards Bali, and then I'll probably hop over to Lombok for a spin. But I think ultimately I'll be flying out of Bali uh, onto my next chapter, whatever that looks like. Does it mean that
Don't
I?
really have like a set end date or anything that you want to finish in a certain place.
No, I just it's whatever happens. If I happen to finish my journey by June, great. If I finish my journey by October, great.
Well, that would be the whole year, wouldn't it? You're aiming for the year.
Yeah, if I hit June, that'll be 1 year total. There's thoughts of me about like hopping over to Australia and doing Perth to Sydney along the southern tier of
That
the
would be
country.
cool. Just going till the wheels fall at this point.
You say what?
I said you're in it till the wheels fall off, till my leg gives out.
Essentially, and then I buy new wheels and I keep going. Um,
Yeah. Is it
but
still the same brim if you replace the brake and the handle?
yeah, there's a handful of things I've had to replace. The wheels are the same, but I've replaced the bearings on both the front and the rear. But yeah, I've had to change the. And I fell in China. It was like wasn't bad. I mean, it could have been bad, but it wasn't. But I one of my right paddle shifter snapped in half, and then in order to replace that, I had to just buy a new pair. I would have liked to have bought one, but I've had to replace the paddle shifters. I've had like 6 spokes break on me, primarily the rear.
You told
Um,
me you spent about, I think, 3,000 on the bike, or maybe more if you include all the extras, right?
oh yeah, I mean the bike itself I think was 12 or 1700 USD, and then all the other bags, etc. Was another
So
1,000 plus.
you're looking at 3,000 for the gear to go, and then how much would you say you've spent on the road since you
Oh,
left on like repairs and stuff?
on repairs? Oh man, boy, I don't know if I
Because
have a
this
good
ain't a
answer
cheap
for.
hobby, dude. This ain't a cheap. This isn't a free
Yeah,
ride.
I know it definitely like there's always that conversation around like bike traveling by bicycle is a cheap means of transportation, and like I don't think it's comparable. It's hard to compare like I'm traveling through Japan with buses and the Shinkansen taking the train, and you're on the bike, so that must be cheaper. But it's like those are two different experiences, kind of like seeking out a different means of sort of digesting the country and the culture. So you can't really compare costs in that regard. But because or you like spend money
Just
on
go.
fuel, I spend money on food, which is
Yeah.
my fuel. But to answer your question regarding repair, man, I don't know. I probably spent about $2,000 on repair
So
the
you're looking
entire.
at like, let's say you spend another two. Let's just be conservative. You're looking at like 7,000 plus a few thousand you spent on travel, obviously, and food. So
Yeah,
what would you say, like 10,000 in so far, and you're 9 months in?
just on the bicycle.
Bicycle
Oh,
and food and travel and other things like that, or are you over 10K?
I'm well over 10K. I mean, if we're just looking at the cost of the bicycle, that's a different conversation. But like if you're talking total cost of my time traveling, I mean, Japan alone was like $5,500. Um,
Wow. Yeah, Japan's
yeah,
not cheap, is it?
yeah, that's 2 months. That was 2 months in Japan. I mean, it depends. People have different styles, but I would argue 2 months in Japan on $5,500 is not bad. I would say that is not bad, because it is.
You weren't eating like top tier sushi for every meal or anything like that.
And I'm stealth camping in some places and
How many
trying
times
to.
have you camped, and then how like versus like how often have you stayed in like semi okay nice places or hostels?
I think the majority of the time I was in Japan was camping. I think that's safe to say the majority of the time in Japan was camping. Um, Vietnam, I've just been staying at hostels pretty much. I haven't camped once in Vietnam just because it's so cheap here. Um, China was about maybe 50-50. When I was biking in Korea, I was only 5 days of biking. Korea's tiny. That was every single night was camping. But then when I was staying in Busan and Seoul, Uh, those were I was staying in hostels accommodations. Taiwan was, I think about 50-50 on the road. And then when I was staying in the cities, hello, they're either confused or bewildered. That was a look of confusion.
And what do you prefer? Do you like hostels and meeting new people? And, maybe you meet some ladies, maybe you flirt, or do you like to camp and be alone, or do you like nicer places like where you're alone? What do you like?
I mean, it varies a lot. I mean, I have no problem camping. My tolerance level for discomfort in that regard is pretty great. So I can deal with a lot. There are times where I'm, in need of some socializing. So I like staying at hostels because it just provides an opportunity to meet people. Um, so it really kind of fluctuates depending on the context I'm in. But I'll take camping when needed, and I'll take a decent hostel situation whenever I'm feeling the need to talk to people. You know.
Good answer.
Thank
Are
you.
we are
I
we, are
get
we ready for a
A
code
plus.
word? Are you Oreoing right now?
No,
Are you, or are you
no,
still happy to talk?
no. I'm good. This isn't the first. Like I've had plenty of friends call me while I'm on the road. It's always nice to be able to have a
What?
conversation because it helps the time go by.
Why don't you enable video for a second? Prove to people that you're still out on the road.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. I got
Prove
a
that you're
lot.
just some scammer who's like, subscribe to my Patreon. I'm cycling across.
They're still here.
There
I'm
you
not
are. Look at you
lying.
go. You're not lying. You're still wow. You got some speed.
No, it'd be funny. This is all a green screen, and I've got a soundboard to mimic. Uh,
And I even injure my knee. It's just all.
this whole podcast is a ruse.
It's
Is
just
a
a ruse.
facade.
Do
It's a facade.
you have any
Uh,
questions for me? Because I'm running out of questions for you, Justin.
uh, I mean,
But
you
I am
talked about
enjoying talking to you.
no. We're only supposed to talk about me. No. I, I mean, you've talked about you showed interest in cycling yourself whenever I was in Da Nang, but you're more of a racket sports kind of guy. But um, is this something like this appeal to you? Because it doesn't appeal to everybody. I'll tell you that much. This is quite a masochistic undertaking to sort of uh, subscribe. See, yep. So
Subscribe, like,
subscribe to.
like, and subscribe for more. Hit the notification bell. I like cycling, but you're right. I'm a racket sports guy. I used to play a lot of tennis growing up, especially with my cousin Robert, and we used to play sometimes all day in the summer, literally all day long. Summer holidays, it was good times. And then I got into playing matches as I got older. My serve got better. I got taller, and I'm pretty tall and I got long arms, and I'm just sort of perfect for tennis. Really, I've got the physique for it.
Oh man.
Tall and lanky, and I thought I got quite good. I wasn't amazing. I wasn't like professional, but I got to a decent level. And then moved to Thailand at 20. Well, I went there at 26 or 27, and then I moved there after another few months of weddings. I used to perform at weddings with a band. But yeah, I moved to Thailand, and bat tennis isn't really big there. I recently started playing tennis in Chiang Mai in the mornings, and it's possible when it's not too hot. And I've got a few friends that play, so I can get back into it a little bit. And I also recently tried out golf, and I quite like that too. I went to the driving range a few times before I left Chiang Mai and came to Da Nang a few weeks ago.
Mm,
And golf is really cool too. But what's really big in Asia or in Thailand specifically is badminton, and I think here as well in Da Nang in
yeah.
Vietnam, and pickleball. So I mainly play badminton and pickleball, and I'm getting into tennis and golf again.
Yeah.
And I've really missed tennis actually. Playing tennis in here has been great until I busted
Yeah.
my. But let's not talk about my knee. I want to play more tennis, and I want to play more golf, and I want to be able to play badminton for like 20 or 30 or 40 more years or 50 more years. So I do need to get my legs sorted. I need to be at 100%, and I'm not going to
Yeah.
risk with a torn ACL. That's just crazy.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't. Oh my god. Yeah. That's you would
Uh,
have to be. I think you would have to be like self-loathing if you were to subject yourself to that.
But
Um,
your question about the cycling, I like cycling. I used to deliver food on a bike during COVID.
mhm.
And I used to be like a delivery boy with the blue bag on the back, delivering pizzas, going up hills in shady areas of Leeds where it's like everyone looks like they want to murder you or rob you. And it's
Mhm,
and everyone's a drug dealer and it's horrible. And you think, what am I doing for $5? But you know, or £4 or £3 for this drop,
mhm.
whatever it is. But like it's crappy money, but you can just about scrape by and scrape a living like a bug. It's cockroach living. It's no good.
I used to deliver pizzas for Papa John's in
No good.
college.
It's not a long term. My back's
No,
peeling from being burned. But
oh, it's finally peeling.
it's not a long term play, I wouldn't say. But it was
No, no,
okay.
no.
And I do like cycling in nice weather, but I don't think I'd want to do like a million miles like you're doing and cycle across Asia. I would love to come with you as like I mentioned, like in a van, comfy
In my
seat,
support vehicle.
just driving along with a big, you know, Sony camera and just documenting you the whole time. And I don't know how to do any of that, but I would love to learn and just become your like crew, basically a one man crew.
One man Dan
As
reporting.
as Gabriel would say, no homo, but like, but I would do that. That just sounds awesome. Because then I could, you know, edit all the footage and make the videos and do all the fun stuff, which I
Mm-hmm.
consider the fun stuff, and make it entertaining and get little clips of you, you know, on the road and just talking
Collecting beers from strangers.
and that would be an excuse. But yeah, that would be an excuse for me to travel as well because I'd
Mm-hmm.
just be filming you all the time, but actually I'd be loving it because I'd be traveling myself.
Yeah, you'll
I want to
find that.
travel more, but I have such a good, easygoing life in Chiang Mai that it's just hard to leave. So coming to Da Nang, one of your earlier questions, why I'm here, is like just to sort of get out of my comfort zone and travel a bit and do something because it's so easy to
Yeah,
just stay there and live cheaply and
yeah,
you know there's no reason to really leave. That's why it's almost too good. It's like cheap and everyone's nice and you feel at home and you feel welcome and the weather's
yeah,
good. Like what you know, you play racket sports all day every day. You don't need anything else. You don't
yeah,
need except there's no beach. So coming here as well, there's the beach, swim in the ocean, da
yeah.
da da da. Da. And also, my cousin was wanting to come here. His Korean girlfriend was here. And I just sort of followed that. I'm third
That was
wheeling.
not, that was the catalyst. Was Nayoung. She was going to
Well,
Da Nang, and
not for me, but for Rob, it was. And so
yeah,
it was one of our choices of where to go in his second month in Asia. When he's just traveling here for 2 months before he
right.
goes back to England. So it was one of our options. And obviously, her being here meant that we chose Vietnam.
I see.
And I'd never been. He's been here before, but I'd never been.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it seems like it's a part of the expat pipeline. Chiang Mai to Da Nang to Bali. I'm sure there's other places, but those
And
seem
it's
to be the
been a
hubs.
holiday. So, I mean, I met you, but we've also met a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
Gabriel and who else? Who else stands out? What was memorable for you about your time in Da Nang? Who and what?
I mean, the socializing and the community element was what was like the true contributing factor to me extending my time there. Was just because it was so easy to meet people. But like even like just showing up to volleyball every day and like seeing who the regulars are. They're it's this organized game on the beach. You just show up. It's beach volleyball. And you hop in and you notice that there's
Fantastic.
there's
Yeah, you literally just hop in. You're a beginner. You've never played like me. And then we
yeah,
started playing every day for like a week. It's getting
yeah.
better and better.
And then you just see who else shows up on a regular basis. Um, and then it's like any activity. It's just like a good way to like it's a good social equalizer. You can just sort of talk to people, whether you're talking about a game, and then before you know it, you're talking about where they're from or why they're in Vietnam, and then it's like that's the beauty of like I think long term traveling and like being surrounded by expats is like you always have like a question, which is like how long are you here for? Like how long are you traveling? Like travel is just like the
Where
seems to
else
be
have you been? Where are you
the
going after this?
yeah the common denominator. So
Who
it's
do you
very
think
easy.
you are? Why are you here? Get away from me. All these kind of questions.
Yeah, get away from me. Get away from me? Question mark. It's
Stop
like,
questioning me. Who do you think you are? Leave me
who do
alone.
you think you are?
but But no, yeah, you're right, and it's great for meeting people. And volley made a few friends, and I felt like I was
Oh,
improving quite quickly. And it's always nice to take up a new sport. And you're quite good, and me and Rob are just tall, so we can just with long arms, so we can just dominate the net,
yeah,
defense. Top grade,
couple of tall
like I've
boys.
never played, so I'm just a beginner. But yeah, been
Yeah.
that was really fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, dude, I was so entrenched in this conversation that I completely overshot my destination for the day.
No, so
Yeah,
you're turning around.
I'm turning around. Yeah, I probably overshot by 2 miles, which is fine. That's just another 4 miles round trip to add to my Strava records. Um, but I'm
Well,
going.
it's getting on, and I'm running lower and lower and lower on battery. But I think we've got a few more minutes left in us of chat.
Yes, sir.
Why don't
We
you
got.
dictate the ending of this podcast
What did you
with
say?
your? Why don't you pose the next question for us?
Oh, let's see. What is? I guess I think the overarching theme of this conversation has been oriented around like travel, but like on top of that, it's just like travel being a defining factor of our lifestyles. Obviously we kind of uh, exhibit that in our own ways, in our own styles. But like, you've been in Chiang Mai, and obviously traveling to Chiang Mai was a catalyst for your decision to sort of cultivate your life in Thailand. And
Yeah, I'm
similarly,
three and a half
me,
years in.
yeah. And so me, being on the road, a lot of it is sort of a means of trying to explore and find inspiration in how to live my life, both during and after this chapter. And so, I guess this isn't really much of a question, but maybe just like some commentary that we can riff off of around, what is it that sort of inspired you to live the life that you're currently living or seeking, um, and like what are the attributes of that life that make you happy?
Um, well, I was inspired by the fact that I can have a much better lifestyle for much better value,
Yeah,
like much less money, and
affordability.
also have better weather and better food and make better friends or more friends and play more sport and just overall the lifestyle is way better in Thailand than it
Mm-hmm.
is in England in general for most people who are like not millionaires. Like obviously if you're a millionaire in England, you probably can have a good life, but if you're not, you're just sort of grinding away. The weather's bad, it gets you down, and you just look up at that grey sky every morning. You get up at the
Yeah,
ridiculous hours and just work so hard, and for what? Like so that
yeah,
to watch the food prices go up another 10%, and like the
right.
electricity and the water, the cost of living is just ridiculous. And every time I go back, it's been a year or two, and it seems to be much worse. So I'm kind of
Yeah.
worried England, but I have a good life in Thailand. And what was the second part of your question?
I mean, like I guess it's not really much of a question, but just sort of trying to like glean more understanding or insight around like, what your logic was that sort of led to the life that you're currently living. Because I think as I travel and I meet a lot of people, a lot of people are curious about how to like make something like this like viable or sustainable for themselves. And I think in a lot of ways, it's really not. I think living that life isn't particularly difficult. It's just a matter of like stepping stepping uh into that zone that you're not comfortable with, stepping out of your bubble a little bit and sort of understanding, oh, this is viable, this is attainable. It's just like you're living your life. You have your groceries, you have your hobbies, you have your friends, you have your community. It's just in a different environment. And I think there's the fact that people don't really envision what that could look like for them. It kind of prevents them from exploring it a little bit. And I think that's kind of one of the beauties of travel is that like, oh, this is attainable. I have a better map or mental imagery around how to even pursue that. So, I think just trying to get any sort of understanding around what your logic was, maybe it could inspire other people to think.
Yeah, well, it's difficult. I mean, I know what you're saying. It's hard for a lot of people to imagine it or to do it and take the first step. I
Yeah.
think for a lot of people, they're stuck in a rut of the work life and what they do, and they're stuck in where they live. And then they maybe take a
Yeah.
holiday if they're lucky for a week or two, but then they're
Right.
back to the
Right.
grind. And they that's enough of a reset for them, hopefully, unless they've got kids that are screaming the whole time and they can't enjoy the holiday. But then they got to go
Yeah.
back to the regular old world that they're used to, and they kind of there's also a comfort that comes from your daily routine and your lifestyle, right?
Yeah. There's
So
certainty, there's security in it. Yeah.
even if it's expensive where you live, you're probably earning enough to cover the bills,
Yeah.
hopefully. And so you keep the lights on and you're stuck in a routine. You're a hamster in a wheel always. We all
Uh-huh.
are. But
A
when
rat
you
race.
when you take that first step to try and move away, the longer you stay as well, the easier it gets, and that place becomes home. So then you kind of
Yeah.
wonder, well, like I was saying earlier, do I need to travel to keep it fresh and also to remind myself, like when I go back to England and see family, or like I took a job on a cruise ship for 3 months of performing, that was like a good reset of like, well, nice on a ship, but I also don't want to be on a ship for too long because that gets bad. And it's
Yeah.
okay to go to England and see family. I don't want to stay too long because the weather's not good and I don't really have anywhere to live and I spend a lot to live on rent or accommodate, and I don't really want to be there. So then when I come to Chiang Mai again, I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
this is this is where I want to be. This is
Yeah.
the lifestyle I like. This is my apartment. I've got my computer. I've got my
Yeah.
piano. I missed everything about it, and you appreciate it more. But you
Yeah.
never know what you've got until it's gone. So you've got to remove yourself every now and again to go, oh wait, it is the best, and I do love it, and I want to be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, for other people, I guess it's logistics and it's about money and it's about finance and planning. And do you have
Yeah.
enough to go
Right.
for a few months?
Which are
Okay.
the
How are
practical
you going
elements
to
of it? Yeah.
how are you going to keep some money coming in? Can you teach English? Can you work online? What can you do online? Is there anything that you can do? Can you change your job to be online? Could you change your whole career? Would you change your job slightly just to fit, the mold of you now trying something new and living in another country? So there are multiple ways of doing it, and you can plan it out or you can just be spontaneous, but you don't want to be in the situation where you run out of money, obviously, and you
Yeah.
also don't want to, mess up your whole life to try something new and then end up in a worse position. So I think being careful is the best way, but also coming to Thailand or a place in East Asia like that, it gets you out of your comfort zone. So even coming for a few weeks, I would advise because it's amazing. It's a different culture. It might blow your mind. You might fall in love with the idea of it or the place, or you might just open your mind and unlock it to a new way of living. For me,
Hmm.
it was I came out to Thailand for 2 months and traveled first and did all the waterfalls and the temples and just going around as a tourist. But then in the second month in Chiang Mai, I did start to think, oh wait, actually, this place is amazing. I could see myself living here. But it wasn't
Yeah.
until I went back to England
Hmm.
and got back to my old lifestyle and started performing at weddings again all the time, as many as I could, to earn money, to save money. I was like, to earn money and save money for what? Like, but what do I actually want? Do I actually want to even be here? Do I want to do
Yeah.
this anymore? I asked myself all these questions. I asked, am I actually happy? And then I was like, wait, I was much, much happier in Thailand, obviously, because I was on holiday. But what if I went back? So I went back and it's an experiment. You get off the plane and you think, okay, well, now I'm not on holiday. I'm going to try and make a go of it. I started a website. I didn't earn any money from that. It was a failed experiment because AI took over websites before I really got my foot in the door. It was the worst timing. But between the keys.com still exists, and people, if they find it or read an article about a piano, the front page, they see my face and it says online piano lessons are available. And sometimes I have an online piano lesson with some new student or whatever. I also then pivoted and started doing YouTube and teach piano on there, and I make a little bit of money from that. So it's slowly gathering dust. I'm slowly starting to earn some money online. I also taught English for quite a long time, at least a year. Uh, and I can go back to that anytime. But I also trade stocks and make money with investments. So
Yeah.
as I said, there are multiple ways of doing it, but I'm just very lucky. I also, I'm lucky in multiple ways. I inherited some money, and I'm just very happy. I just feel very, very happy living in Chiang Mai. So that's where I'm going to stay. I now have the 5-year DTV visa with Muay Thai. So I've got 48 hours left of my 50 hours of Muay Thai, which I can do anytime within the 5 years. So I can go and do Muay Thai when my knee's better. I can, get back to badminton at ASAP, hopefully. Um, and just eating good food, keeping healthy, keeping fit, keep the videos going on YouTube, get that channel fully monetized with ads. That needs 4,000 watch hours within a year, a rolling 365 days. So that's a challenge, but I'm nearly there. I'm at 3,300 and something on Between the Keys, and that's a big focus of mine. But I make some money with affiliates from Amazon. And yeah, as I said to you, I think when you come to Thailand or meet me there and see my place, whatever, I think you'll have a great time. I think you'll probably love it. And I think even if you don't settle down there straight away, you'll probably want to come back. So that's what I hope for.
Yeah, yeah. I think as I do this first pass through Asia, there's been a lot of thought as to what I want for my life once I inevitably settle down, because this isn't a sustainable lifestyle. It's exciting, but it's not something I envision forever. So, do I go
Not
back to
forever.
New York, or do I talk about cost of living? Coming from New York, this is quite pleasant to not have to feel so stressed out about the money.
New York is
Um,
probably very expensive, yeah.
yeah, incredibly expensive, but it's part of the difficulty is that, like, I have such a strong community there, and I love that city, regardless of its many flaws and expense. I do find that's part of the challenge for me. Is like I do find myself uh, torn. I love New York and I miss New York, and it's the one thing in my life that I have the most clarity on, is that I want New York to be my home in the long run. Um, but before I even feel inclined to, 30 years old, a lot of people sort of start making decisions to settle down and stuff like that, which is reasonable, but I'm not there yet.
We're both 30 and we're both not ready for that marriage and kids thing.
No, so I want to. There's some things that I want to experience before. Not to say that you can't do certain things because you're married and have kids. It's just there is a limiting factor to it all. I think you have to be real and pragmatic about how to pursue certain things.
Love
And
the
so,
word pragmatic, by the way. Great use of the word.
great use, great word.
Well
I just
played.
love.
You won the podcast secret prize for using big words.
Was it like the Blues Clues, like the word of the day or something, or like was that Pee Wee's Playhouse? There's like the word of the day, and then somebody would say the
Good 8-letter word, and so you've won the secret prize. Well played.
what's the secret prize? How do
You'll
I?
find out.
Oh, it's truly a secret. It's truly a secret prize. You
It's a
don't know
free
until you
beer.
know.
That's our
Oh,
catchphrase. I'll buy you a
it's
beer.
I'll buy you a beer. It was actually the beer that the guy
And
rolled
every
next to me
time,
and
yeah, it
gave
was
me.
actually him. He was the guy who gave me the prize early.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, he did. He knew I had it in my vocabulary. And
I'll
rear and
buy you
ready
a
to
beer
use.
became our phrase because I'll buy you a beer and then ask you to buy me one back.
Yeah. And it worked because I was ready to go home. You're like, no, I'll buy you a beer. And then he bought me a beer, and then I was out for another 4 hours.
Yep.
One
Like
beer
I got
because
to
of
stay
4 hours.
another week in Da Nang.
And then, yeah, that's it. All started with that one beer.
And when you come to Chiang Mai, I'm going to be like, no, stay, you stay, you stay.
I'll buy you a beer.
I'll buy you a beer. And then
Mm.
you'll be there another month and you'll be like, wait, it's June already? I'm supposed to be in Bali.
Yeah. I was doing some research to see what the Thai visa limitation is for tourism, and I think it's 60 days for Americans. So, um,
Nice.
I
You'll have a
because
great time.
because I think somebody was saying it was 30 because they changed it, but I was reading 60, and then there's like a 30-day extension. So,
Justin, I got
doing,
one more question for you before we say goodbye.
yes, sir. What you got?
Are
It
you
better be
happy?
insightful.
And is it
Am I?
from this? And are you happier now than you were before you left New York on this big trip?
Oh boy, is that a loaded question. Right now, yeah, I'm happy. I mean, it's just the thing is like when I first started this, there was a lot of uncertainty, and I, obviously gave up a lot of security and familiarity. So it's really actually when I started the trip, I was pretty depressed. The first 2 weeks of riding through Hokkaido, I was like, just questioning my decision and all of it. I had tears and a lot of emotional processing, and I wasn't sure. And then as the days carried on, I settled into this life. And that's the thing. It's just like whether you're traveling long term or whether you're like sitting, you're rooted in a community in a single place. It's just you get used to that lifestyle. Um, and you kind of learn to adapt to whatever it is that you're sort of providing for yourself. So yeah, I think to answer your question, I am happy, but life still happens even when you are traveling long term, and I'm not always happy all the time because life happens. You meet people, you make friends, you fall in love, you go through heartbreak, you say goodbye. um, and all that kind of comes with the fluctuations of emotions. And you can't be happy all the time. But am I happy with my decision? Absolutely. Do I regret anything? Absolutely not. um, when I suggest people, if they have the opportunity to do something like this, for sure, absolutely, yeah, I would. This is incredibly enriching and very meaningful experience. And I wouldn't have been able to meet good old Daniel here if I didn't make the decisions to do what I'm doing now. So yeah.
Amazing. What a great answer. I'm so happy to hear that you're happy and that you were happy before, but that you've gone through the roller coaster of your life. And man, I'm jealous as well, and I envy you that you've done this trip, and it's just awesome. And I don't know anyone else doing anything like it. You're the first person I've met who's doing something so big and brave, and just cycling a million miles. I love it. I think you're awesome, dude. It's very cool.
Yeah, the experience provides a lot of opportunity to build self trust, um, and self trust is a pretty considerable basis for one's self esteem. So if you want to you build a bigger platform of self worth and your sense of love for yourself, just continue to find challenges for you.
My self
Uh,
worth is already maxed out, but I appreciate the offer. No, I'm kidding.
this man could use no more self worth.
My ego is
Platform,
too big to
platform,
go on the bike for even more
boost
than a mile.
basically.
No,
Uh,
I aspire to do something similar. It's a big undertaking, and you're still going, and you've got no fear, and you're just cycling all day, every day. It's brilliant. The
yeah,
experiences you're having now are you'll remember them, and I don't think you'll have any regrets, especially when you're an old man, and you're like, wow. Let me tell you,
yeah,
little kid, I went all the way through Africa on a big old bike. Gather
yeah,
around, story time.
yeah. Well, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be a part of your podcast here, because this is a documentation of what's going on in my life currently, and it could be a reference point. It's like, here's all the videos, here's all the photos of my time, and your grandpapa just so happened to have a podcast with a good man named Daniel, who
I'll send it
you know
to you. Dude. Send you the whole file, everything, and you can post it on your stuff.
yeah, yeah, that'd be
It's
well
gonna
appreciated.
be,
Are you
and
gonna post it on Spotify?
it's gonna go everywhere. I post everywhere. I might even pay to promote the whole thing out of it. I might just see if I can become famous overnight. I'm the new Joe Rogan. Check out the podcast. It's the English version of Joe Rogan, but way better than Joe Rogan. It's just way better. It's just so good. What a great
Yeah.
podcast. I'd like to promote it and see how many views I can. If you throw
Yeah,
money at it, it will get big, right? If you just throw money at it.
yeah, you gotta pay for them advertisements. I'm in the town of Donghoi, and I'm starting to see some other foreigners, some other white people, which is interesting.
Nice.
Why are they here? Why are they in
Maybe
Donghoi?
girlfriend will be white. Who knows?
What'd you say?
Maybe your next girlfriend will be white. Maybe she won't. Who knows? Maybe she'll be Asian. There's no telling who you're going to be dating next.
Yeah, who's to say? Who's
Hashtag,
to say?
hashtag just in time. Hashtag Justin. Hashtag traveler.
Hashtag uh, uh, consumer of Oreos, no matter the flavor.
GG. Don't buy any more pink Oreos, dude. They're disgusting.
Yeah, the pink ones. What are they? They like have a name. They're like
Yeah.
Monster something.
It's called
Monster
trash.
Baby.
Trash ones. No good.
Yeah, no bueno. Beep beep beep.
I
Yeah.
need to charge my phone and upload this podcast and become rich and famous. I'll throw you 10%. Okay.
Yeah, is this recording legally binding? Is it?
I'm kidding.
He said it
I'd like to
first.
finish the podcast by saying that I think you're so great. One of the best I've ever met. Such a great guy. Powerful and spiritual and so much more. So much more, by the way.
Who is that? Elon Musk.
You're cute. You're so cute. You're doing a great job. And many people say that, not just me. Many people, especially
Are you,
people in China, because you've been to China, by the way.
are you doing the hands? I can't see, but are you doing the
Doing the
hands?
hand, but I don't know if this records video. I think it's just audio. But
Right.
if it only records audio, then at least you've got the Trump in there. And as Peterson would say, I think you're doing a great job. It's like you're like a dichotomy between heaven and hell. It's quite something. All right, enough voices. Come on, do it. Just get to the chopper. Ow. Ow. Ready to bite so far. Ow.
I gotta find my accommodations at
What's
my $3 hostel.
$3 hostel? I hope you meet some cool people. Have a good night's rest. Get some nice food. Um, and then a new day tomorrow. I guess you're straight back out on the bike tomorrow. Is that right?
I don't know yet. I think there's a cave, like a famous cave close by, so maybe I can take a bus up there. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But
Oh,
we're
it's
still
seeing that on Instagram.
yeah, the caves.
Cave
Yeah,
system. All right, dude. It's
yeah.
been great talking to you. Let's do this again in like a week or two, or whenever we can.
Yes, sir. Thanks
We could
for
even do one in Thailand when you get there in person.
and then we'll have the table set up. We'll have the neon lights in the background to really complete the podcast aesthetic. We'll
The
have
Daniel Farino show. We'll get a sign made. We'll get some people on it. We'll get some people working with us, for us, together. Start a
but
whole
they
corporation.
won't be getting paid.
Well, hopefully they will, but I don't know who's paying them at the moment or what the salary will be. I don't know. We're not earning money yet, but let's see. Let's see. Who knows how huge, quite frankly, we could become. Say goodbye to the people, Justin.
Goodbye,
By the
bye,
way,
people. Thank you for the
so
chat.
good.
A good
Great to
time.
talk to you, dude. Stay safe out there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Enjoy.
Peace
Rest
out.
up and
Rest it up.
enjoy Danang.
Da Nang. Vietnam. Sweet. See you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. How do I end this? What do?